Hello, back out in the greenhouse this morning, doing another job, potting things up. So I've got my little pots and I'm mindlessly filling them with, with compost, and I quite like jobs like this. They're quiet and they're methodical, and they give absolutely no indication of what's going on in my head or in the house. Because inside there is all activity going on in the incubator. Turkeys are hatching. They started hatching yesterday, and by this morning we had 6. And as I'm talking to you, there is another one trying to come out of its shell. Now, it's, in comparison to the others, it's been very slow. So I'm a little bit worried that it's struggling to get out. We won't want to interfere, because if it's not really strong enough to get out of the shell, it may well not be strong enough to survive the stresses of the next couple of weeks, as their little bodies are growing very rapidly, and they're trying to get enough strength in their legs to stand up properly, and all those things that and turkeys and chicks, well, and all baby birds go through. So in the greenhouse, and we'll look at turkeys again maybe tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, it'll be the next day. So I'm filling my pots with my compost, because not very long ago I ordered some comfrey plants. Well, they aren't comfrey plants, they're root cuttings for me to grow on, and I need to get them potted up because I'm not completely ready for them all to go into the ground yet. And rather than them sitting in their packaging going dry, it's better to pot them up and grow them on for a little bit in pots until I'm completely decided exactly where I want them. Now, Comfrey has, I think most of us know, is an absolutely wonderful plant in the garden. It has incredibly deep roots that go down and down and down, and draw minerals up from the lower levels of the soil and subsoil, and their leaves are very, very nutrient rich, and they're great for making comfrey tea for the plants, or a fertilizer drink. But you can also just, chop and drop. So literally just chop the comfrey leaves, lay them around a plant. They'll very quickly rot down, and feed the soil around the plant. Yeah, and equally great to put in compost, because they're rich in nitrogen. They get the composting quite quickly. So all good stuff. But there are different types of comfrey, and good old ordinary comfrey is a bit of a nuisance. It will seed itself absolutely everywhere. It's really hard to dig up and to get rid of, so if it lands in the middle of your prize flower bed, it's likely to stay there. But there is at least one variety that is really good, because it doesn't set fertile seeds, and it needs to be propagated from root cuttings, and that's a variety called Bocking 14. It's a funny name, but there you go. So that's the variety I've got. I have bought a whole load of root cuttings of Bocking 14. So here we go. Here's a piece of root, and I'm going to lay that on its side in the pot of compost. I've been joined by a bumblebee in here. It should find its way out fairly easily. There are plenty of open windows and doors. Oh yeah, and he's gone. But I'm quite happy for them to be in here, because at the back there, I've still got tomatoes in their planter, which is ready to go on a wall, or possibly we might put it on some fencing near the boot room door. I'm not really keen on having it hanging right on the house wall, because it just means as all the time we're watering it, that moisture is going to be held against the wall, and I'm not sure that's a terribly good idea. One of my friends got in touch yesterday and asked for my help in rehoming a cockerel because he's got too noisy for the neighbourhood that they live in. So I said yes, of course I'd help. But rather than him coming here and not being part of our breeding programme and ending up on the table, I had a really bright idea. So he's actually can only be here for a short amount of time. He will be in quarantine while he's here, and he's going off to a friend's farm in South Wales to live with half a dozen girls, all of his own, where he'll be able to make as much noise as he likes because he'll be miles away from the nearest neighbour. So I'm quite pleased to be able to help one friend, help a second friend who's looking for a cockerel. And how neat was that? Just, you know, serendipitous timing. Some of these bits of roots have still got leaves on them from where they were right at the crown of the plant before, and hopefully that means that they'll grow away really quickly. I really like doing these just concentrated rhythmic jobs because an awful lot of what I do is quite physical and it's quite walking around doing stuff from one place to another, and this just stop and concentrate and do something calming and methodical. I like it. It's a good contrast. It's amazing to think something gnarly and knobbly like this will grow a plant quite happily. Nature's clever like that. So as I said, my number one choice would be for this to go straight into the ground, but on the basis that you can't just dig it up and get rid of it completely. I want to be sure that the places I'm planting it are exactly where I want it. Now I know that I want at least one plant under each tree in the orchard and in the food forest, because that will make it really easy to do a chop and drop and feed the plants, and also that as the leaves of the comfrey die off each year, they'll improve the soil around the tree. And in some ways there's a temptation just to put a piece at the end of each raised bed, but that's going to take away from the growing space in each bed. So I think I'm better off designating an area, perhaps in the duck enclosure, or possibly down by the pumpkin patch, where I just have quite a lot of comfrey, and use it like a crop bed. Well, that's it for me today. I'm going to carry on doing this and I'm going to leave you for a few moments with our new turkeys. And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join me again tomorrow.